Welcome to my video. Thank you so much for coming again. And if you have not subscribed, please do subscribe. And if you have done so, thank you so much for subscribing. So in this new video, I'm going to demonstrate how we can implement modal in a server-side data table, Laravel data table. I know we can also implement modal in a client server side, but it's a bit different implementing it in a client server side data table, and that is what I'm going to demonstrate today. So let's just log in to this simple application. So this is the app I'm going to use. This is a simple application I'm going to use to demonstrate how we can implement modal in a server-side Laravel data table. So this is a student club membership record. Here admin can click on this button to add a new record to the table, can select a student, and also add a student to any club. And the position of the student in the club, it can just be a member, and make the student active, then click on add button, and this student will be added to this club, and that's the student here. And also admin can edit each member by clicking on this edit button, and we can also see the modal here. Admin can change the club maybe to dance club, and can also change this maybe to secretary, and then can update this member. Okay, and you can see here it has been changed. This Cynthia is now in dance club and is now the secretary. Okay, and also we can make it active or inactive. Okay, but what I want to demonstrate today is how we can use this modal to add a new record and also edit the record as well on a server-side Laravel data table. Okay, so now let's move on to the video and demonstrate how we can implement this.
So before we continue on the video, I just want to take a moment to explain what is modal and also what is Laravel data table. Modal is a display or pop-up on a browser or web page, usually meant to get attention or to get a user to take an immediate action. While Laravel data table or tables is a package that handles the server-side works of data table in Laravel. Unlike client-side packages, it uses Ajax to handle data and data processing on the server side. So the client side data table and the server side data table are implemented differently. So, and that's why when you're also implementing the modal is also different. So in this video, I want to show us how you can implement or trigger modal in a Laravel data table from the server side. All right, so these are the differences between the client side and the server side. Actually, I'm not going to dwell on this because this video is about modal, not about uh, implementing the server side or the client side data table per se. But I also want to just point out here that normally for the server side is usually fast because it fetches data um, just when you need it. It doesn't fetch all the data, unlike on the client side. Once your window opens or your browser opens, it has to load all the data on the browser. Okay, and this is where it makes your application slow. But for this server side data table, it's only when you need it that it will fetch the data from the database and display that for you. So it makes it fast, and that's why I like server side data table. And this is it here. If you look here, you see this whole data set. This is the client server side data table. It's just a clip of it. So it has to load all the data sets from the data table in memory. Okay, and this can be very slow. So this is how it's been implemented in the script. It's just an example. But for the server side data table, this is just how it looks like. This is the controller, how the controller looks like. It's just an example. This is how the data table looks like. But don't worry about this. It looks so cumbersome and big. This boilerplate is actually generated for you. Once you create your data table, it comes like this automatically. Yours is just to put in what you need, customize the table according to how you want it and how you want it to be displayed. connect your database to it, and then you'll be able to get all your data. It's so easy. So setting up the controller, this is just how I set up a controller here, but this tutorial is not about setting up controller. I want to believe that you can actually set up a controller in Laravel and data table as well. But in case you're so new or you don't have much idea on how to create your controller or create a data table, you can go to any of this documentation and you can be able to read it up there. So now let's move in and then have a hands-on on how we can implement this modal from the server side on our data table. Okay, so now let's go in and let's log in and then see how our application looks like as we're about to start. Okay. Okay, so this is our application. So you can see our application is empty. So we want to create a server-side Laravel data table and display it on this page. Okay, all right, so let's move into our code and then start. So this is our package, this is our application. So let's start from, let me show us here. So this is the data table, the students club member data table. It's empty. So the moment you create your data table, you're going to have this boilerplate. It's going to come like this. Then let's look at the controller. So this is the controller here. I have already set up this index. I've added the data table here. So this is how you configure the data table in your index so that it will be displayed. So this is also the data table being returned to your view, and then these other data are the data from the club as well as from the students, which I intend to pass to this view. Okay, so this is how I return that to the view. Okay, so without this index, we wouldn't be able to see our, wouldn't be able to see the page that we just saw now. Yeah, this page. Okay, so is that index that actually displayed this page? But because we have not implemented the data table, that's why we are not seeing the data table yet. But once we implement that, we'll be able to see that data table. All right, so let's also see our view. Okay, let's go into the resources, our view, the admin, the student, the index. So this is our view. Currently now our view is empty, the data table is not here. Okay, so we are going to start from here, from the view. So the first thing we are going to do, we can add our data table here. Let's start by, let's put in a header here. Let's use h4. We can call this all club members. Then we can use add a div here with a class of align item center. Okay, so inside here we are going to add our modal. Okay, we are going to add our modal here. This is where we're going to display our modal. We're going to go to Bootstrap to copy a modal from Bootstrap, which we're going to put in here. Okay, but we can also put our data table here. So we can use a div here and put column long. Okay, and inside here we can call our data table, which we've already implemented. Data table, which we have implemented from our controller. Okay, so, and also we need to push our data table script here. Data table scripts attributes, and the type is modal. Yeah, so this looks good. So let's say, so our data table is coming up now. Okay, so these are some of the data from our data table. It's coming up now. Or see the modal is here. I'm going to remove that. I thought I commented it out well. Okay, here. So we're going to implement our model here. Sorry, I'm supposed to put it this way. So let's go to Bootstrap. Let's go to Bootstrap, and then we want to get a modal. Okay, so first modal, let's see this one. Okay, so we can take this. So we can just copy. Let's come here and paste, or rather, instead of pasting a modal here, let's create a partial here. Let's create another folder just to help to make our code lean. Okay, so in here I can add modal template.php. Okay, so this is modal I've copied from just copied from Bootstrap. So let's include this in here to include. Want to include this modal here. So we have to go from admin. You can see the part admin. We have admin, students, partials, then modal. So admin, students, partials, and modal. So with this, you can see it's already underlined, showing that the part is correct. So let's check out our. So let's just refresh again. Okay, so you can see our button here. You can see the button. You can see the modal. So it's here. So what we will need to do now is to add our form. Okay, so that once we launch this, we'll be able to add a member, be able to add a student to this membership or to this club. Okay, first let's change this name. Let's change the name. We can call it add member. All right, another thing I can do here also, let me wrap this button here with a div. Okay. Okay, and so what I can do now, I'll change this IDs. I'll change this ID to club member model. Okay, this one didn't highlight club member model. Okay, and also this label. Okay, I can see how. Okay, club member model label. Okay, so this targets will be able to reach this ID. Okay, this model container. All right, so what I'm going to do next is, okay, here to this model title, let's change this model title to add new member. I'll come with capital, add new member. Okay, and then in here we can implement our form. Here within the form, we are going to have a select input to select the student we want to add into the club. We also going to have another select input for the club, and then a normal input for the member, the position of the member, as well as another select input for the status. Okay, all right, so let's add those inputs, but before then let's also put the method here. A method here is going to be post, and also let's not forget also to add post here, and then add a CSRF token as well. Okay. Okay. Then let's also give a heading to this form. Let's use a p tag. Okay, and we can give it a class name of my model title. Then inside here I can say please fill all fields. I think that's okay. All right, so then we can add a div with a class of form group. So inside here we can add a label. Okay, the label will be our member, which is the club member I want to add. So here we are going to add a div with a class of input group, and inside here we also have another div. Okay, and we also have a class here of input group. So input group text, and inside here we add an icon with a class of class font of some class. Okay, then here we put a select input. I want to add a select input here, and the name we give this is student ID. We can also create, okay, the ID is here right there. I also call it student ID, and we give it a class of form select. Okay, and also we can also add another class to get club new member, because this is the new member that we want to add. So we can call it get club new mem. It's too long, so we can leave it like this. Okay, in here put our option and we'll select students to add. Okay, here we're going to display we're going to use for each option to display the students that we are passing from our controller. If you recall, we are passing these students, okay, from a controller. So that's the student we want to use. We are going to use for each to actually display them here. So I'm going to say for each, okay, student as student. Now, option, and the value we can call the student student ID. Then in here we can actually display the student's first name. Okay, so the first name, that's how I actually have it on the database. You can see the student table here. Okay, so the name is first on the underscore name, the same with the middle name, the last name. Okay, so these are the details from the database, and that's what I'm trying to get from the controller on this view or on the form that we are trying to display. I can also add the last name here. Okay, student last name. So with this we should be able to see this. Let's check it out and see if once we click, okay, once we click on it, so we should be able to see that. You can see the students are popping up. So this is what we've done so far. It's not aligning well, but let's see. Just a sec. Here, so let's add this class, my modal member. Okay, then we're also going to add another. This is our select. Sorry, let me format it a bit here. Okay, so this is my form group. This is my form group. So here I'm going to add another div. Okay, what I can do now is to just copy this. Let's just copy this and paste it again here. So this I'm going to call, this is the club itself. I want to select the club. Okay, and here I can say select. I can say select the club. Okay, and also in the same way we pass the clubs from the controller here. I can say club. The club ID will be in the value here. I don't need to add all this. And just say the name, and it's a club. Okay, club name. Okay, then the other one I'm going to implement the same way. Let me also copy this again and paste again. But this time around, it's not going to be a it's going to be a normal input for the position. Okay, so I'm going to remove this. Instead of this, I'm going to replace it with normal input, which is going to be a text, and the class is going to be from control. Okay, and I can also add an ID here, which is for position, and I can also use a placeholder, and I can say enter member position, and make this capital, enter member position. Okay. Okay, then the last one is the status. So here I'm going to, instead of this, I'm going to put status here. Okay, and I can also get rid of this. I just want it to be either it shows, I want to get rid of this as well. What I want to put here under status is options to either be active or inactive. Okay, option here, I can say, I can make this one. I say this is active. The other option is 0, that's inactive. Okay, another thing again I've not done is to change the, for club member it's fine, then for this I need to change the details there because I copied it then, so I don't need this in the club, and I actually want to instead of text I want to prepend. I want to change this to prepend. Okay, prepend means I want this icon to be I want this icon to be appended by the side of this form input field. That was why it was not looking fine the first time when we saw it. So that's corrected. Then I want to change this to, this is user member. I want to change this one to tasks. Then instead of student ID, I would like to use club ID here. Okay, the same with here. And also here, I need to remove this. Okay, it's from select. Okay, and then for this, also get rid of this. I can actually say my position, my modal position. That's fine. And also change this to prepend. Okay, and change this to briefcase. Then the status, I'll change this as well to prepend. And remove this here. Remove this from here, which I've done. Okay, and then I can use a check here. Okay, I'm gonna remove this as well from here. Okay, and this should be a status as well as the name status. Okay, that's looking fine. Okay, then the button. Let's look at the button. Instead of secondary, I want to use danger here. And here I can leave this as primary, but let me add another class here, which is pt add. This pt add here. Okay. Right, so let's clean this up. All right, so let's save and see our form. Okay. Okay. Something is not aligning well. Let's go back. Let's go back. See, this one as well is not looking fine. We may have to add a style here. Okay, and also I would like this to move to the left. Let's go back. For the button, okay, for the button, let's remove this and just give it some margin at the bottom there, and possibly left, maybe 2. Okay, I think what I've seen the problem. I need to add another div here. Of input group text. Alright, I changed it then, but I need to still add the input group text here. So let me just copy this and make the change here as well. So this is going to be passed in here as well. This is briefcase. Okay, and here as well. This is check. What is that? My select input. It's this is the okay. This is my icon, so I want this select input to be here. Okay, and so the same way I'm going to refactor this as well. So here I'm going to add the div, but this is going to be task, and this also is going to be inside this div. And as well move this into this. Okay, and do similar for this input move it out here and inside here, and then also another idea which is input group text. So I'll wrap this in here. Okay, so let's see. Let's refresh. Okay, so our form is looking more like it, and we have our students coming up here. We have the class. Okay, I can see the student is only populating the last name. Let's look at the students. Okay, first name, this is wrong. Okay, so I've corrected that, and we can check again. Okay, so it's coming up fine. All right, so we've been able to implement this modal here, but this is this creating the for creating a new member. Let me also change this to save. Let's change the button name to add. Instead of save changes, I said add member. Okay, so this is the modal for creating or adding a new member. We've now implemented the adding of a new member from the controller. We're going to come back to do that. Let's go to our data table and work on our data table so that we can have this data table appearing nicely here. Yeah, the way it's looking here, and also the error that used to pop out here whenever we refresh is not looking very fine. So let's work on that. So once we rectify that, then we'll come back